there, I'm Emily Duplessis from Rental Rookie, and today I'm going to answer the question, what happens if I buy a property and inherit tenants? We actually are going through this right now at the time of recording this video. But whenever you buy a property that was a previous investment property, in most instances if it was rented, you are going to also inherit those tenants that are there. And this can be a little bit of a gray area in terms of kind of the passing of the baton from one landlord to another, but some things that you're going to want to consider and some things that we have done in the past just in our own practice. When we buy a property and we inherit tenants, we make sure that we get the previous leases. We look at those before we ever buy the property, so we know what we're getting into before we even buy the property. And when that transfer of sale happens, the transfer of lease happens as well. And we get that lease and we continue that lease until that lease is up. So for instance, if we buy a property and somebody's in the middle, 8 months into a year-long lease, we will keep that lease for the rest of the 4 months that are left on that lease. And then if we need to make any kind of changes, if we want to raise the rent, those sorts of things, we'll do that after the end of the lease. If it's a month-to-month lease, you have a little bit more flexibility. You can kind of come in and work with them a little bit, maybe make some changes a little bit faster if they are not in such a long-term lease. But the thing is, and you'll want to check your state guidelines as well, because every state is a little bit different. So there are state landlord laws out there that you're going to want to make sure that you check and that you follow, so that nothing comes back to get you. But we honor the leases as they are when we first buy the property and let them and let them run the course, and then we can make necessary changes later if we feel necessary. But the biggest thing is that you'll want to make sure that you check your state landlord laws and make sure that you are following all the guidelines that you need to have in terms of giving the tenants their rights that they have with living in the property as well.